Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the Russian Tier 9 Premium Heavy Tank, the Object 777 version 2. Now this was a tank that you could get for free in the first season pass of 6.0 I believe it was, part of the Action Hero season pass. And I don't think I've actually featured it on the channel since it came out, or a video not long after it came out. And it was a tank that I felt like could be good, but had some severe limitations that just made it really unfun to play. And one of the big things for me was its turret traverse. Its turret traverse was utterly abysmal. It was like 16 degrees a second, which was way slower than the tracks. Like, it was just horrific. It was like turret to tank destroyer kind of turret traverse. It just didn't keep up with the tracks. You really struggled if any tank decided to go around you. Most heavy tanks could out-traverse your turret if they decided to circle you. It was just that horrible, and if you were trying to use the tracks to turn the gun onto target, there's a lot of times you'd also overshoot because the turret traverse couldn't keep up. It was a horrible thing to play with that turret traverse. Thankfully, it did get buffed, which we'll go over in a second. And yeah, generally on the whole, this tank is a really solid Tier 9 heavy. It's got great armour, it's got a decent gun, it's got a reload that's okay. It's mostly the armour, and also the mobility of the tank's pretty decent as well. So on the whole, it's a really solid Tier 9 heavy. As I say, the turret traverse used to be the thing that really destroyed it, and with the buffs that they gave this tank in that Reforged Legends, it's pretty damn diddly nice to play. So, what did they buff in that Reforged Blitzkrieg? Well, they decreased the repair cost from 13 to 10, weird. Health burn per second, 136.5 down to 120.25, so I think that basically meant that if you get set on fire, which does happen because you are Russian, you lose less health, essentially. They reduced the camo cost. Again, I think it had some weird pricing on its camo, so yeah, negligible to actually playing the tank right. But the big ones, so they buffed the accuracy during movement and rotation from 0.23 to 0.18, which means the gun just doesn't bloom that much at all when you're turning the hull in the turret. It stays relatively accurate for most of its time, which is really nice. That was a really good buff for this tank. Gets the biggest one for me, the biggest one that made it more bearable to play. And pretty much, they probably could have only buffed this and I would have been exceptionally happy with it. And that is the turret rotation speed went from 16 to 28! A whole 12 degrees a second extra! Massive! Absolute massive buff. And like I say, it made the turret traverse so much nicer. It made the tank so much more playable. And it just didn't feel like a chore when you were playing it, which was nice. The gun depression from 5 degrees to 6 degrees, great. 6 degrees of gun depression is sound for a flat Russian heavy like this, so you take every extra degree you get. And the aim time went from 3.2 to 2.9, which again is a really great change for the tank. It means the gun doesn't take much to aim in, and the fact add that to your accuracy during movement and turret rotation, you're aimed in a lot of the time, which is great. So, yeah, the 777, with those buffs, this tank is a hell of a lot of fun, and it really can stand up to a hell of a lot. Like, it is a side-scraping god, it's very, very good at it, but it can generally bounce quite a lot as well, which is nice. So, in terms of a crew on the 777 version 2, are on Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, Track Mechanic, and Rapid Aim. Rapid Aim, still to make the turret traverse even nicer for the tank, and just make it so that you really make the most of that turret traverse buff, and it keeps the turret up with the hull and stuff like that. All the gun perks, because you still got, like, what, 0.42 accuracy or whatever, it's still not the best, so you want to make it as good as possible, and yeah, all the rest of it are the normal perks you'd take. In terms of equipment, it's rammer, vert stabs, and optics. Again, making the gun 20% better is always what you want to do on a heavy tank like this, especially when you're pushing 0.4 and higher accuracy, so you're always going to run vert stabs like that. Optics to make it so that you're not blind and you can see your opponents, which is what you want to be doing. You don't want to get out-spotted all the time. It's really frustrating when it is like that. And then rammer, like I said, to make your DPM even better. So this first replay on Thiepval Ridge, we've managed to acquire 3,005 damage so far, and we blocked 3.3k. And you saw just how well the armour can work on this tank when we were facing that 705A who yoled in on us. We managed to just keep blocking him, keep ourselves angled, and with the shots he was getting at us, how does that bounce get? Excuse me, light tank armor. Come on, T100 LT, don't be bouncing my 122mm gun like that, please. Yeah, anyway, you see, we kept angling our armor, and he wasn't able to pen us. But an E4, however, firing APCR with nearly 400 pen, yeah, that's going to butter your armor. And you see, it just went straight through the upper plate at a strange angle. But that's because high pen, and he just lolled at us. But yeah, I mean, you can use the armor really effectively. It's one of the big strong points of the tank. And when you do side scrape with this tank, it can be rather impenetrable. We'll get it right in the end. English, it's hard. And you can really slap out damage while you're side scraping and block a lot as well, which is nice. So the second 705A of the game is coming after us. Unfortunately enough, he saw the way we angled, so we were at this sort of angle here. He ends up hitting our tracks and only tracking us, which happens a lot, like I say, with the armor. You can bounce a hell of a lot. You can side scrape really well, and if people don't hit your lower plate, they're really going to struggle. But the thing is, your lower plate is also very, very strong in this tank. It's the type of lower plate where you need, like, what, 230 pen at least to go through, 240? Something like that. And that makes it incredibly powerful for facing tier 8s and 7s. Because, I mean, they're going to have to be firing premium to hit and pen your lower plate. Which is kind of sad in a way, but at the same time means you're going to be loving life with the armour of the tank, right? So, the 705A has been destroyed, which is nice, and we're just looking for shots at this E4, who at the minute can't quite see us because, well, we're in foliage, and he's at a good distance. 509! What a roll. This is a 440 Alpha gun, by the way. 509, we'll take that every day. And now he's turning to face the other guys. We managed to get a nice shot into his Cypher. 457, another high roll. Look at that. We're balling with these high rolls. But now he's hiding behind the house. He's just given us a little bit of his ass, but we can't quite see it enough because he keeps pulling back behind that building, which is kind of sad. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and see if we can get a shot anywhere else. Hopefully he might pull out around the side of this house again and give us another shot. And that's what we're just sort of living in hope of. Hopefully the medium tank or the heavy tank might spot him, because I don't really want to push forward and try and attack the people in the hill or the, you know, the TDs that probably sitting at J9. Because if that E4 just decides, you know what, I'm just going to poke out now, it's gonna hurt, right? Because as soon as I get spotted, I feel like he could do that. But the safe way of doing it for me is to get to this bit here, where he will be covered from our right-hand side. I do, like I say, have to be covered from the one TD that is left, which I've just got to be careful of that, which would probably, like I say, probably be from J9. But we do have a shot round the corner of the building at the E4, and oh my goodness, RNG just took that shell. It looked like it was going to be perfect, and it just said no. But fortunately enough, we managed to get the shot in. Now the gorilla's driving out. Is he driving out? Is he going to give himself to us? Yes, he does. Aim the shell in, slap that one in. Now there's only one tank left. It's a medium tank, which is staring at us right now, and it's like, oh god, please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Don't do it. But the detector disappears, and it's back again. It's like, no. And then we get unspotted, so we're safe. And it's actually a sneaky UDES that's sat on that K-line. Mad that he managed to stay on spot there for so long. And finished the game with the victory. 3 kills, 5,000 damage, 4k blocked, ace tanker, steel war medal, which you get quite a lot in this tank, and 1,784 base XP. A really nice game for the Object 777 version 2. It's a solid tank. Honestly, it's a solid heavy tank. It does everything pretty decently. It excels in its armour. Gun handling leaves a lot to be desired at times, but it does slap pretty nice with the 440 Alpha, and obviously you got the pen, like 258 pen, is it, something like that, 340 heat. It's good. It's just a solid all-round tank, and it's thoroughly enjoyable as well. And the buff to that turret traverse, I cannot reiterate how big a change that is for that turret traverse, because it was just so horrible to play. It was just like, you turn the turret a little bit, or sorry, you turn the tracks a little bit, and the turret goes whee, you know, flies off in the other direction. You just can't keep the gun on target. If you want to take a shot on the move, or if you wanted to poke round a corner and you had to adjust a little bit for the tracks, you just couldn't keep the gun on target, and you'd end up missing so many shells. You had to be so patient with it. It was just so frustrating. So that change when they brought in the Reforged Legends was just so great for it. So we're on the second game, we're on Cliff, and oh, that shot missed. Oh, that's painful. Yeah, and we've pushed aggressively into this EF2-3 position, and yeah, I love this position. Oh, it missed again. Oh, RNG, please. Please let me hit that tank. Oh, dear Lord, how did... I had a bit of bad aim, really. We should have anticipated that he was going to move back or forward, but yeah, it's one of those frustrating things, right? But yeah, this position here at EF3-4 is so great, because if you take this position and they attack that eastern side, you're just going to get a lot of damage at people crossing. As you see, we managed to get 2 shots into the Rheinmetall Panzerwagen, which is nice. And we've got shots at this Tiger too, when we actually reload. We're going to aim for the side of his turret, get a big shot through the side, and yeah, now he's running away. One thing to note, actually, that I forgot, is if you use the skin that this tank gets, or you can put on, I'm not sure if you can put it on and buy the skin outright, but it was a skin that you got with the season when this tank came out. For some reason, it's something that they still haven't fixed, is that 120mm gun sounds like a 76mm gun off of a Sherman. And it's really off-putting. It's really annoying. It's like, why does my 122mm gun not sound fearsome? Why do I sound like a 75 or 76mm gun Sherman tank? Why? Wargaming, please fix that eventually. I mean, I know it's a low priority thing, right? It's not game breaking. It's just like, this just sounds silly. But anyway, yeah, that's why the gun sounds weird. We're using this position here at E3 to good effect, because you see what good it is, and especially when we've got armor like we have, we can just get up on here, bounce shots, and start slapping shells out at their team on this eastern side, and you can really change the outcome of a game very, very quickly from that position. But the problem with that position is that when you do go into that 1-2 line, especially from their spawn, and it's their spawn is kind of like the hill on mines, right? From their spawn, it's a lot harder to get into that middle area because we get there a little bit faster. So naturally, if you are on their side, you're probably going to die a lot of the time, and it's a very, 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 very risky move to take. Still risky from our spawn, because if their team really does commit to it, they're going to overwhelm you very, very quickly, and you're going to die, especially if you go alone. If you go in there 1 and then they send in 2 or 3 tanks, you're dead, and it's just not going to end well. It's like the D6 position on Malinovka. If you rush it and you get there unscathed, you're going to have a great time in that position, as long as someone doesn't just YOLO down and kill you and die for it. You're going to have a great time, and you can really put the hurt into the enemy team. And as you've seen in this game, we've managed to get 3.7k damage from that position, and now we're just getting up behind the enemy team that had gone down the 8-9 line round the back of the cliff. But with this Progetto 66 that's dying, they still do have like 5 tanks left. One that's on the hill in the 13105, or 1390, sorry, I thought it was the 1305. Yeah, the 1390, but he's a one-shot, he's low health. And I'm thinking, you know what? I might try and bait this 1390 out to get shots into my ass. Try and bait it out that way, because when he decides, you know what, I'm going to try and shoot this 777 version 2, he might actually overexpose, and that way I can shut him down. But just as I'm pushing out this way, the Object 432 actually gets spotted, and it's like, well, hello, Mr. Object 432, let me just come over here to kill you. The 1390 looks like he's kind of busy, though, with some of my team that are trying to climb the hill, so it's like, okay, you know what, I'm just not even going to bother with the 1390. I'm not concerned about him anymore. We want to help out this other guy, the 430, against the 432, and the I-7 actually shuts that guy down. And there's only 3 tanks left now. There's a TD, which we've just spotted in the Badger. I said there's still the light tank on the hill, and then there's a medium tank somewhere that we haven't seen. So what we do is we're going to get below the gun of the Badger. The light tank is still on the hill at the minute, and he can actually get shots at us if we're not careful. But what I want to do is get up to the side of this Badger and try and get round him. If he decides to turn with me, my team are going to be able to farm him very, very easily. And he may shoot me, but I'm really healthy still. But if he ignores me, then I'll get free damage. We actually spot the medium tank who's hiding behind the house. And it's like, oh, I've just got to be careful of that. But you know what? I can get a shot into this Badger, but the Badger decides to just climb over the hill. He gets away from me into another tank. And then we just look at this Stone Cold, and it's like, oh. Well, don't mind if I do, Mr. Stone Cold. I'll just farm you, Mr. AFK Tank. Thank you very much. We give him a nice little love tap. I only get 82 damage. That's really disappointing. And before we manage to reload, we unfortunately don't quite get the kill at the 5120. But we do finish the game with the victory, the 5.9k damage, 635 assistance, ace tanker, high caliber, 1784 base XP again. And yeah, a really nice game for the Object 777 version 2. A really, really solid heavy tank. It's a lot better than when it first came out. It's a lot more bearable to play. Now I say that turret traverse really killed it for me, but that buff to it has made it great for me to play. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.